Join me as we ride south on the famous PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway in California. Starting our ride today in Reynolds on Tomales Bay and ending in Tamalpais Valley. We are riding just south of Reynolds with the Tomales Bay on our right. On our right is the Tomales Bay Oyster Company. The Tomales Bay Oyster Company is open Friday to Sunday to purchase oysters. They also provide a catering service. There have been businesses selling oysters on the West Coast since 1851. The largest producer of shellfish worldwide in 1880 was the United States. The San Francisco Bay Area was the sixth largest in the country. The first oyster beds placed in Tomales Bay was in 1875. Starting in 1869, seed and oysters were being shipped back and forth across the country on the Transcontinental Railroad. The trailhead for Tomales Bay. This is a 2.5-mile trail with a loop at the end. The town of Point Reyes Station. Point Reyes got its name from the nearby Port Reyes Peninsula and for being a stop on the North Pacific Coast Railroad. The North Pacific Coast Railroad was built in 1874. It brought goods from Sonoma County to the ferry in Sausalito, which took them to San Francisco. The San Andreas Fault is very close to Point Reyes Station. There is a walking tour of the fault that starts at the Point Reyes National Seashore Visitor Center. The main street going through town has different names on different maps. Main Street, A Street, Shoreline Highway, Highway 1, and the Pacific Coast Highway. Point Reyes Station is the largest town in this area of the coast, with approximately 350 people living in town. It has a grocery store, feed store, hardware store, bank, and pharmacy. Riding through the town of Bolinas. The Bear Valley Visitor Center is approximately half a mile west of Bolinas. This is the main visitor center for Point Reyes National Seashore. The Bear Valley Visitor Center is where you will get permits for backcountry camping and beach fires. There are many trailheads from the visitor center. One of the easiest trails and most popular is the Earthquake Trail. This is a 0.7-mile paved trail, showing examples of the San Andreas Fault, like a fence that moved 16 feet. The Kule Loklo Trail is 0.8 miles and ends at a replication of a Miwok village. The Coast Miwok people was the original tribe of Point Reyes and the area. Kule Loklo means Bear Valley. Although there were many villages, as far as we know, there was not one on the site of Kule Loklo today. Bolinas Lagoon Nature Preserve. On the left side of the road is part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. A quick stop to enjoy the scenery. There are a few pullouts along this section. Some people were fishing at this one. Hidden in the woods on the left is the Audubon Canyon Ranch. It is open seasonally on Saturdays. They have hiking trails and nature guides. On the left is deer on the road. Although we weren't that close, luckily they went into the forest and not in front of us. On the left is Stinson Beach School. The point on the right of us is all private property. The homes here are part of Stinson Beach. We are coming to the end of Bolinas Lagoon. The town of Stinson Beach. Stinson Beach is part of Golden Gate National Recreation Area. It has a reputation for being one of the best swimming beaches in Northern California. Stinson State Beach and Stinson Beach below us. On hot days, the parking lots fill up before noon, with no overflow parking and no camping. Lifeguards are usually on duty in the summer, however the beaches are open year-round. Surfing is also popular at the beach. Winter and spring are the best conditions to surf. Pets are not allowed in the National Park section of the beach. This area is in Mount Tamalpais State Park. There are many hikes and bicycle trails on the mountain. On the higher altitudes, on a clear day, you may see the Sierra Nevada, which is 150 miles away. The parking here is for Steep Ravine Trail, which is on the left. On the right is the road to Steep Ravine Cabins. Steep Ravine Cabins are part of the state park. There are campgrounds in the park as well. The campgrounds are first come, first serve. The East Peak Visitor Center has great views, snacks, and information. The Gravity Car Barn is not far away, with information on the Mount Tamalpais and Muir Woods Railway. In 1896, the railway was built to connect the peak of Mount Tamalpais to the spur line of Muir Woods. The railway was 8.19 miles and said to be the crookedest railroad in the world. In 1902, four-wheel coasters called gravity cars also used the railroad tracks. Gravity cars were operated by a man who would sit at the front and hold the brake, keeping the car at a maximum 12 miles per hour. The gravity cars ran on a schedule when the trains were not using the tracks, and the trains towed them back to the top of the mountain. The use of drones is not allowed in the park. Dogs must be on a leash at all times and only allowed in certain areas. Animals to be aware of in the park are rattlesnakes, mountain lions, and ticks. Fires for cooking or campfires are never allowed in the upper mountain, If the park is not currently under a red flag warning, fires are allowed only in the fire pits. There is not an entrance fee for the park. A few of the parking lots at the longer trails do have a parking fee. Fog is common in this area. It can get down to 50 in the fall and winter, with the spring and summer average in the 80s and 90s. Horses are allowed in the park, but only on the fire roads and a few other places. Motorcycles are not allowed on the fire roads. Bicycles are only allowed on the Coast View Trail and the fire roads. The white rock off the point is called Gull Rock. I'm looking south with the point of Muir Beach in the distance. Time to get back on the road. We are now in the Marin Headlands. We are in Golden Gate National Recreation Area. We are riding east, leaving the Pacific Ocean and going towards Richardson Bay. We had limited time in California, with our road trip being 2 weeks to cross the country and back. So we skipped Muir Woods National Monument, but it is definitely on our list of things to see next time we're here. To the right is the San Francisco Zen Center. On the right, since the ocean has been a sliver of private property, which ends about here. On the right is now Golden Gate National Recreation Area. On the left is Mount Tamalpais State Park. This video ends when we're out of both of the parks. UNESCO has designated Golden Gate National Recreation Area as a biosphere reserve. This includes over 80,000 acres. There are many things to do here. Discovering local history, touring the forts, and of course the nature. The Golden Gate National Recreation Area covers about a quarter mile offshore. Harbor seals, elephant seals, sea lions, and birds are common in this area. Gray whales migrate past here. They swim about 35 miles offshore along the continental shelf. We did see whales when we stopped. They were too far away for us to tell what kind they were. Blue whales and humpbacks are the other whales that are common for people to see, as well as dolphins and sea otters. Making sure I've got enough room to pass the bicycle around the corner. Being on a bike, it's a lot easier than being in a car. I couldn't imagine trying to pass all the bicycles we've passed in a truck or a bus. There are many hikes in the Golden Gate National Recreation Area to our right. You can hike to the mountaintops, valleys, ridge lines, along the river, to the coast, check out some batteries, and even to a sandy, secluded beach. There are a few hike-in campgrounds and only one road into this area. It has a big parking lot at the end and privately owned horse stables. They offer trail rides and summer camps. Thanks to Madre for letting me use their song. It's around the 11.5-minute mark. It's the only one with lyrics. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and comment below. Please subscribe to my page on YouTube and Facebook at Biking with Butterfly. And on Instagram at BikingWB.